So the classical reformer repertoire really doesn't have a lot of pure hip flexor strengthening exercises in it. So I wanted to take this opportunity to show you some intermediate level hip flexion variations in case that's something that you're wanting to target. For this first one, you can just use the regular foot strap if your client is about my size or smaller, or if you have someone that is a larger build, you can always use something like this thigh strap. This came with my tower attachment, but honestly, you probably have something lying around your clinic that would be sufficient as well, if you've got like a universal pulley or something like that. As long as it's large enough to go around their thigh, then you're okay. You might even need to attach a couple extenders on it. So for me, I'm just going to use this one. You definitely don't want anything that's too large either, because then it's just going to slip off. We've got the stopper all the way in, foot bars all the way down. I've got one medium and one light spring, or one blue and one white. We're going to be on our backs here, scooching your bum all the way towards the shoulder rests. We're going to take the strap, we're going to loop it through until it's right above the knee here. Head is supported in the hands. We're going to bring a little bit of core support into the picture. So inhale, exhale, just finding those guys in there. Bring one leg up to tabletop, and then we're going to move through a bicycle. So what's really nice is we're getting a little bit of deep core, some nice stabilization, and then moving reciprocally as well. You can also do this with both legs at once if you want to get both hip flexors going. I don't tend to like to do that, because what ends up happening is if people have two hip flexors coming in, they tend to go into more of like a pelvic tilt, or the lumbar spine can move through a little bit of flexion. So I'm not really looking for an ab curl, which is why I tend to use one side only at a time. Okay, okay, for a little breathless. Let's get that out. Moving on, if you want something that's a little bit easier on the neck, we're going to go into sort of a 4-point or a reverse scooter. If you have someone that's my height, which is about 5'5" or shorter, you're probably going to want to use the platform extender. I'm going to place that on the floor. For the weight, you can sort of stick with your 3/4 springs, one medium, one light, or go up to one full spring. Again, entirely up to you based on how strong or how weak your client is. The platform extender is there to help keep my pelvis nice and level, because without it, for me, the floor is too far away. So you can see there's a little bit of a drop on the stance leg. We're going to have two hands on the rail, one knee on the shoulder rest here, finding a nice neutral spine or a nice flat back. We're going to bring that knee forward and then back in. So another opportunity to work on some hinging. So coming in, let that sit bone go, and then returning. So what I'm looking for is making sure they're not losing that serratus or losing that scapular support. And then when that leg comes in, we're not sort of curling the back to cheat. We're not sinking back with the hips. So really and truly, we're looking for just that hip socket doing that pure hip flexion movement as best as they can. So moving on from here, if you want something that is still more challenging than that, this last one is the most difficult of the three in this grouping. Let's get rid of the platform extender. So you're probably going to want a sticky pad or a sticky mat, or some non-slip grip if your client doesn't have the Pilates sticky socks. If you have someone that's doing this for the first time, you may want to try something that's lighter, so maybe 1/4 spring or one light spring, or if you have someone that has been doing this or they've got the hang of it, or perhaps they're more of a stronger athlete, you can probably go up to 1/2 or even 3/4 of a spring, so one medium and one light together. I'm going to do this on a 1/2 spring. And so it kind of looks like a press handstand to some people, and there are some people that may be tempted to go that way, but we really want to make sure that they understand we're aiming for hip flexion here, not quads, and trying to maintain a pike position with the toes down. So let's get on with it. Be careful when you're stepping on, because there's only a medium spring. It is a little bit tippy, so I just have to be careful when I'm getting on. There we go. So 2 feet kind of halfway back on the carriage, 2 hands down onto the rails, It's really up to you how far you want to go, depending on how much range you want. So I'm just going to start in mid-range here. We're going to think of inhaling to prepare, and then exhaling, lift that pelvis up, pick it up towards the ceiling, fold in half, and then come back down. So it's really important that the client down regulates the quads and really focuses on the hips. There's a lot of shoulder work here, but it's also really nice because we're getting tons of anterior chain. All the way up and then back down. So again, up to you how you want to change it. You can increase the difficulty by making the spring weight heavier, as I said, or just walking the hands further out.